The one thing I've heard the most throughout all the dealerships I talk through throughout the country is that it shouldn't be harder to understand your DMS than it is to sell in your dealership. So it shouldn't be harder to take photos. It shouldn't be harder to see where service units are in the queue. And it definitely shouldn't be harder to see where your parts are at in inventory. That's why I partnered with Blackpurl to talk about those 3 specific pain points today. Hi, my name is Maggie Stevens, and I'm with Powersports Playbook. I am here to help you today figure out how to make those 3 things, which haunt every dealership throughout the country, into little things that are so easy to do. It's actually easier to use your software than it is to write it down on a sticky note or on pen and paper. First thing I want us to talk about is parts. So when it comes to parts, we all have had this issue, me included, right? We all think it's easier to go ahead and write parts down on a piece of paper, or go ahead and write parts down on a sticky note or on a pad or something like that, instead of seeing how many tires do I actually have in stock? How many rims do I have in stock? Heck, how many roofs do I have in stock, right? Because that can be the make or break of a deal. So instead of schlepping out to the container or going to the back shelf or going to your rack to see, or my favorite is going into the back racks and starting to count how many do you have of something. Instead of having to worry about any of that, in 2 clicks, you can go into your software with Blackpurl and you can see where your inventory's at. So instead of hunting and schlepping and stressing about this and potentially messing up the deal, because again, if someone is wanting to buy something, I don't care if they're in parts, I don't care if they're in service, I don't care if they're in sales, they want it now. Bless their hearts, they want it now. So it's a lot easier to go ahead and look in your inventory for that part to see where is it, if it's been located, or how many do you have? So maybe you're getting ready to do a deal and you're selling a ton of side-by-side roofs at the moment, or maybe you're doing a deal on trailer tires at the moment, right? And you want to do a big promotion, but you realize you don't have enough tires, you don't have enough roofs in stock. You can go ahead and look in your inventory like that, and you can see how many you have on hand and how many you need to order so that you're not caught off guard and you don't potentially lose the sale. So with that means most of the time we're hoping we can install it, right? So that's where service comes into play. And service is just the backbone of the dealership. I came up through service. If you know anything about my background, I owned a service first dealership before I ever worked in a franchise. So I'll always kind of live and breathe and eat service. So here's the thing when it comes to service, right? Doesn't matter if you're working on something old, if you're working on something new, or if you're selling something new. You want to know that when you quote something out to a customer, it is going to be accurate. So no one wants to be there, even though we all have, no one wants to be there where you're getting the dreaded phone calls over and over again. And you're like, and the customer's saying, where's my unit? You promised me this date. You promised me this. You promised me that. You don't have to worry about any of that. As the service manager, as the owner, as the tech, as the service writer, you can go ahead and log into Blackpurl and you can see where the queue is at. So you can see if you're waiting on parts. You can see if you have a promise date. You can see all of these things super quick so that a lot of that friction is removed. And especially when you're the owner and you have your team and you're working with your team, you know, you're going to be able to start to see that things are starting to get log jammed a little. So instead of getting log jammed because you've got 15 of one type of machine that you're working on and you're wanting to do a sales promotion and you're like, oh God, we've got 15 machines that need to come out of service and they're all promised by Friday, but I want to run my promotion starting Friday, you can go ahead and coordinate that. And again, all of this is very easy to see on the dashboard in Blackpurl under the service tab. It's designed that way. And so a lot of the things I'm talking about right now, whether it's parts and accessories or whether it's a service job, the reason why Blackpurl made all of this simple and easy to use is because they heard you. They heard where you were struggling. They heard where things were frustrating. They heard where, it always kills me, where it's easier to use a sticky note than it is to use your software. And so one of the things that haunts all of us, yes, I've talked about service, yes, I've talked about parts, but is photos. Photos live. They live on someone's phone. And you're like, but why is it in the phone? We're doing an insurance claim. I need it in the ticket. Why, when we're doing the walk around, especially with motorcycles, these used to kill me with motorcycles. With motorcycles, when we did our walk around, we took photos of the bike because conveniently, If that scratch was on the gas tank and it wasn't documented, then conveniently, you're always gonna have that guy that's gonna be like, well, that scratch wasn't there, right? And you're like, no, it was. If it's there and it's documented and it's in the ticket, you can go ahead and flip through and go, no, sir, that scratch on your gas tank was there. No, sir, that scratch on your fender was there. No, sir, your tire was already falling off before it came into service and you denied the claim. So photos are one of the simplest ways to keep your dealership safe. And the other thing too, right? So we talked about warranty tickets. We talked about insurance. Same thing. If you want to know what pictures we're sending to the insurance adjuster, if you want to know what pictures we're sending to the manufacturer, they all can live in the software. The one thing I really like about Blackpurl that they designed is it doesn't matter what platform you're using. So you could be on your cell phone, you could be on a tablet, you can be on your computer. It's irrelevant. You can still click into the same screens, you can still upload the photos. So instead of having a service writer say, I'm not gonna upload photos because I'm not downloading an app on my phone, they're not downloading anything on their phone. Instead of trying to chase the shop tablet, you're not chasing the shop tablet, right? Because God knows where that thing was or who had it last, or they're gonna say, I'm using it, you can't have it for another half an hour. None of that matters anymore, right? All you have to do is log into the platform, click a couple buttons, and boom, you can upload your photos right then and there. So someone that's working outside in the field or someone that is outside checking a bike in, the service manager, once everything's uploaded, can see them in their dashboard at their computer right then and there. It's meant to be seamless. It's meant to be simple. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be so that it's easier to use the software than it is to use a sticky pad or to have things live in your phone. And why is this so important? So I talk about tech a lot, and I talk about using the tools that we have at our disposal so that we can make things simpler and easier. So one of the nice things about Blackpurl is they're designed from cloud down. Now, bear with me, I'm gonna get a little geeky for a couple seconds. So a lot of software is out there, nothing wrong with it. A lot of software is out there, they were designed for desktop up. So that means that they were designed to be on a desktop and everything's formatted for a desktop, everything's designed for a desktop. You're meant to use a keyboard, you're meant to use a mouse, so things are just literally designed differently. Not a problem with that. But the way we do business now is everything is any device available, right? So if you're a salesperson and you're trying to close a deal, it's easier sometimes to walk outside with your tablet, right? Maybe you need to see what inventory is in stock. Maybe you need to see where something's at in the queue, or maybe you need to upload documents for your finance team. It doesn't matter what device you're using. You can use your cell phone, you can use your tablet, you can use your computer. So with Blackpurl, they designed everything from cloud down, meaning that whatever access you have on your phone, you're gonna have on your tablet, you're gonna have on your computer. You're not trying to relearn a new system. And the nice part about that is your 19-year-old that is helping out in the back of the shop and use your C-level tech has the same ability to go ahead and use it as your 60-year-old that's in the sales department. Both of them are gonna be able to use the software seamlessly. And so that's why I partnered with Blackpurl to tell you about these 3 specific things that can make your life in the dealership easier. And if you're using Blackpurl currently, go ahead, take a minute, look at some of these features. If you want, take this video, share it with your team so that they can understand maybe a couple different ways of how to use some of the things I pointed out. And if you're not, go ahead and look at the link below and book a demo with them. You'll be surprised what you can gain when you switch over to Blackpurl.
Want to experience Blackpurl 2 firsthand? Visit blackpurl.com, book a demo to see it in action, and get every question answered. Or request a quick call at blackpurl.com.